Asura's Wrath. A story of a man obviously named Asura, who's so wrathful, tenacious, brutacious, and big Brock that he will do anything to save his daughter from the people, and specifically a man that betrayed him and painted him as a demon, when truly he was a man just fighting for his daughter and his family, make a world where she can live in, and most importantly, to have something to maybe salvage a better means of humanity for him to fight for. That is a more in-depth and complex sense of the story that is not always captured by every person who plays the game. Asuras Wrath is one of, if not my most favorite game to talk about, and most importantly come back to, and it's probably my favorite game of all time. And in this video, by the case of the title, I'm going to be talking about why I believe personally Asuras Wrath is better than God of War in some different aspects. I'm not saying it's better than God of War as a series, as I'll be on crack if I said that, because Asuras Wrath is one game in comparison to an entire franchise. But I do think that Asuras Wrath, for being obviously inspired by God of War, did unique things and is a very intricate, complex at its heart, and most importantly, joyful and saddening thrill. And I really think a lot of you should play it if you haven't, with this being said. I think it's very dope. I wish it got a sequel. I would like my man Asura to be in fucking Marvel vs. Capcom or some different game of that sense. Get his name more out there. And yeah, that's pretty much what this video is going to be about. I hope you guys will enjoy. I'm your host, Amon Raw Games. If you guys like it, subscribe, share, comment where the fuck may be. Besides all that BS, let's go and get popping with it.
Give me head. 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 Bad bitch. Give me head. And she finna give me head. She wanna come and just give me head. I don't wanna fuck just yeah. All of these niggas ain't hating on me, but it's been one of yeah, mama. Keep your clothes on and give me head. All of these niggas ain't told me to walk on the motherfucking beat. I ran. I blow the shit up and we get out. That's if I'm the girl like bitch I am. So his bitch, and I slam this bitch like a motherfucking slave. The minute she saw me, you know that she flamed. She fucking with me cause she know I'm a head. GLOUP. They wanna be like me. Can't walk in my session is VIP. I'm so high up, can't be where I be. Like don't try us a DIE. Your shit get busy, I feel like I'm geek. I'm trying to get litty, your bitches.
Now look, the things that make Asura's Wrath better are just Asura's better in all around case of story than God of War or some different things. Stand in 4 different forms, right? But in particular, if we're talking about than God of War in general, to me, it's in the matter of one thing specific that we'll go ahead and talk about in a different point. But starting off with number 4, as I said, 4 things, right? General is a case of matter of the looks, aesthetic, the culture inspired, the case of mythology tied with it, and most importantly, the case of the all-around themes of each thing. Not in a matter of music, even though the case of the minion music that I got in the background here is busting, as y'all can hear. It's mainly in the way that the case of the characters are depicted, showcased, and all around the case of the aesthetic pleasing. I feel like a lot of the time, mainly in the Greek saga of God of War, all the way from God of War 1 all the way to God of War 3 and Ascension, obviously after, we're talking about in a matter of consistency. A lot of designs are good, really stellar, very defined, but a lot of Asura's Wrath's designs, especially Asura's multi-case matter of forms and designs himself, make him look like a being straight ripped out of mythology. I feel like they're a lot more tied strongly close to every record of mythology. I know that God of War is adaptation, Asura's Wrath its own reform in the matter of mix of Buddhism, Hinduism, and different matter of Asian mythology, folklore, legend, and religion. I just feel like the way they shine that stuff isn't a better record of aesthetic pleasing to me in some occasions. I don't think they wipe all of God of War, but I think a great deal of designs of Asura's Wrath is better. And I think all of the designs of Asura's Wrath, and I will fight you on my last breath on this, is better than the God of War designs. So that's why me personally, I believe, within the matter of number 4, like I said, why I believe Asura's Wrath is better in some occasions. Now, when it comes down to number 3, from the matter for what makes Asura's, in a sense, aesthetic and same time feel as a character be better in God of War, and simply third, I feel like the dilemma and the story conflict at hand is simply the fact that why Asura does what he does. You see, Asura and Kratos are very similar, especially because obviously Asura has blatant case inspiration from Kratos. But the thing is, I feel like the way Asura goes about stuff, his uniqueness and his overarching tragedy and his overarching goal is a lot more sentimentally personal and feeling, because I feel like it's something that everybody could grasp the thing from, and the music mixed with everything that is so profoundly beautiful and artistic and creative and so soul feeling in it is represented. Ashura's purpose does come with a mix of vengeance, but it's to go ahead and have his daughter's innocence still be there and not let her be used as a weapon for stuff, and to go ahead and get it back in blood for a higher case calling. He's not just out to get vengeance and lose his humanity and degrades the stand of what he does because of it, and he also wasn't a bad person before going about it, arguably, or was a very crazed, bloodlusted warrior. He was angry, he was wrathful, but he technically has a set up thing for it. Like Kratos, because I'm not trying to say Kratos didn't have valid reasons or complexity or any substance matter for why he's the way he is, but just the fact that Asura, being a demigod, created to be reckoning wrath like no other, to be a god of Black Air Force energy, my man does what he does for a more sensible, I feel like, better full-fledged cause. As Kratos, even though having a valid reason to want to get it back in blood, his reasons all were built up by him, by his own choices, his own cons as a man, as a person. He would go ahead and disregard everything to go ahead and gain a matter of power, what is being said. And at the same time, his reasoning to go ahead and face the case of the barbarian king and risk it all and damn near sacrifice the matter of his humanity and other things like that is valid for a greater deal. And I'm not saying there's not like a sentiment of a purpose with this being said. I'm just saying all around it is a thing that still is always haunting and daunting, just because, simply put, this man, even though having valid reasons, would shake up new matters of callous and out-of-pocket means of cruelty, even if it had nothing to do with the saving of Sparta and others. He was already in general a person who was a very crazed matter of bloodlustful person, and being Spartan is not just a simple matter of excuse. And again, I'm not saying there's not a reason, and I'm not saying as a Spartan, and in the case of the crisis that he's in, it's not reasonable for him to go ahead and pledge to Ares for the means of power. But I feel like he never takes consideration out of pocketness that he does, just because of the fact that it had to be by the time that his family was killed by him that he had to realize that. And I do think that's good, but the thing that makes Asura better in that retrospect to me is the fact that Asura always had a feeling that his overarching cause and means was not the best because of how things were going, especially every other time getting poked in the ear about his daughter's capabilities when he was doing everything that he was doing for the betterment of her and his family. Kratos did everything that he did in a mix, yes, to protect the case of his family, to protect Sparta, to live on some real nigga shit for some semblance, but a lot of it seemed like it was just out of the means to just kill, you know what I'm saying? It's not like there is no purpose, but I feel like there's a lot more touching if we see how Kratos' mindset was developed, fueled, and his personal case of gripe with things, instead of it just being a stain on him than anything else. Especially because even though Spartans were brutal savages when they needed to be, they were not just brutally callous or barbaric in every case of the way, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't just, oh, we do this because of the system that has created us entirely. It's because of the means and purpose that gaze into that stuff here and there. You know what I mean? It's not just out of the case of, oh, we don't have nothing else, technically, in that one retrospect, to be able to maybe change the way of things for our life. It is simply the fact that this is the great way for how we do it, and we will do nothing but this because of the fact of the enemy that comes. And the barbarian king is a person that Kratos, by the comics and different accounts, already had beef with, so that's a different story. But the dummy case callousness, the dummy case of savagery, the bloodlustness, and just the fact that Kratos and his Spartan army and him being the top ranked great commander, you know what I'm saying, was all based in the matter that we will stop at nothing to not discriminate but eliminate our foes. And Asura had a little bit of that suggestion of purpose within the matter of being an 8 guardian general, right? But in his purpose was against a more vile and ravageous thing that was literally a fucking hell spawn coming out from Earth and was going to bring devastation to Earth and greater case effect in the case of his home world, aka the matter of his heaven standpoint. So to me, all around, that adds a little bit more when it comes down to the substance matter of being a very interesting character and a matter of motives. I think the matter of his personality, even though not being super more great than someone like Kratos, you know, they both being stoic, angry, big Brock, brutacious matter of niggas that go about any matter of means to do what they gotta do for the people they love or to get it back in blood. What is being said, both being god killers, both being very powerful protagonists, and I love both of them. What is being said, what makes Astro a little more better to me is the type of way that he is and the fact that there's a lot of stuff that humanizes him, grounds him, and doesn't necessarily take away his humanity to prove a point, I guess, in the semblance that Kratos is just Black Air Force energy personified. And I got a problem with Kratos being a menace, but a lot of the time it is unprovoked. He doesn't seem to think about some of these interactions that he thinks about for a greater deal. And even though, yes, Spartans will do whatever they gotta do to get the job done, that's how they were raised, that's how they were bred, that's how they were trained. I just feel like Kratos not having any semblance of that hope that he talks about when the great warrior spot in Atreus, that was the inspiration for the case of someone like Atreus and his name, right? I just feel like always puts a bad taste in my mouth sometimes. I don't think it's the baddest thing, right? Because I understand the complexity that comes with him being this way. I just feel like Asura has a better reckon of the idea of being human, being a solid character, and being dope at the same time, even with his wrathful intention. And when he does go berserk and goes crazy and can be literal fucking chaotic within the matter of a lot of his means, it is built up, it is reasonably more solid than I feel like Kratos, because even though he lost a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff built up to the matter of his craziness and matter of stuff, I feel like on occasions when he goes beyond, that's different. Him having no fucking care about the devastation and chaos that he's bringing about to Olympus areas, another matter of just very fucking brutal and very psychotic, arguably, decisions is one thing. But to be killing innocent people before God of War 3, to be out of pocket, disturbing, non-compassionate, and only being humanized when a girl looks like his own daughter, Calliope even, and having no care or consideration for those he affects, I feel like on some occasions, is bad. And there's a lot of growth with Kratos after the fact of the Greek saga, right? Especially in God of War Ragnarok, from what I've heard to have since, because I'm going to go ahead and eventually have to go and play that, but I've been busy with a lot of this shit. But I know that he has a big case of matter redemption and reform. And I'm not saying that, again, none of these have a sense of that. But me, I just like a character like Asura who could be built up a lot more strong and structure to his stuff, and even in the while of being similar to Kratos with a lot of strong needs to go ahead and put a nigga in the ground and be on Death Stone time and be to the least the credit of not full out of pocket in the record of his moving and stuff. And just all around, I just like the way that stuff is solidly pleased in the case of this man Asura's down form to being madness personified. And then when a person like Yasha has to go ahead and pull him back to the means of humanity, the guy that started a lot of the case of the chaotic craziness of Asura, his brother-in-law betraying him, kidnapping his niece, and possibly being fucking okay with the death of his sister, even though Yasha never knew that his sister died, with his being said, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, damn the way shit.
If I'm wrong, it's been a miss I played, but from playing it on my channel,
this is nigga Kratos, man.
I just think that, like, that's just wild, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for the third point. I know there's a long record point, but I wanted to pretty much explain it. Again, in conclusion, he's not better than Kratos in all-around case of character, because obviously Kratos has been along for more longer, and he's obviously inspired from the dude. So considerably, even though being inspired from a person does not by default mean that you can't be good, you are not going to be by any sense of matter better than them in their own right, and it's just all around just not going to be the case. So like, yeah, I mean I just really don't see how, you know, that would be possible in the sense of it being so deliberate here, right? But still, on to the case of the second point though, with this man Asura and Asura's wrath as a whole. I just feel like, in my opinion, even though I love Greek mythology and I love Norse mythology, I love all matter, these are matter of creations, right? Original adaptation, baseness, inspiration, right? That the mythology and the stories and the design and the feel is better, and I also think corresponded with the music with this being said. I think it's just a little bit better, and another case of matter song to play in the background that'll better represent this, in my opinion, is the case of Asura's Wrath in Your Belief vocal version though, which slaps so fucking hard, bro. It's so bussin' that it will make y'all niggas start wanting to go ahead and go over to like Tibet and start fucking being able to fucking throat sing like the one motherfucker in Jago's theme in Killer Instinct, which I don't even know if that's actually Mick Gordon or not, because I read a bunch of different accounts that he actually went to go and learn how to throat sing for that. So that's Mick Gordon. Mick Gordon has proved again why he's the goddamn GOAT. Okay, but still, anyway, I just think everything that makes the case of the music so pop and bussin' is all full-fledged shown in that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just all bussin', and it's so defined in every case of the way that makes it good. You know what I'm saying? And with the matter of the feel that comes with this adaptation of obviously mix of Hinduism, Buddhism, and all that, is just the design stasis with them. And obviously there are some characters that kind of give a reckon of some of the Greek gods, feel like Deus, who is deliberately just a case of Chinese, the fucking Mongolian-esque look. Zeus, like Deus, Zeus, it's obvious, even though I do like how Deus' design is like, what is being said, with this Chinese commander to emperor feel, his black lightning is cool. It reminds me of a Black Lantern from DC Comics, with this being said. I really like the way that he's like, right? Everything about him is very cool, so I really do fuck with how he's built in the case of matter of design stand, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel when it comes down to the representation of it. Also with Chakravartin being basically like Buddha, but a evil and narcissistic creator version of him, makes him very cool to me because of how he's built up and set up. The way Asura comes back from the dead, I think is cool, and I think arguably for the context of the story, that's better showcased because of the fact that at least in that one, with Kratos coming back from the dead and not losing his memories, that's fine, but that's because of the way the underworld is like. But in this case of the afterlife, him losing his memories adds a lot more to me, and it's a lot more coolly set up to me all around, and I really like how that's shown. And I like that Chakravartin was the golden spider the entire time. I just think the antagonistic stand is very cool. And obviously, I think the villains of God of War are around better, even though I do think Deus as an antagonist and Chakravartin as a villain in the grand scope, or even antagonist still, right, is very dopely shown. And I just like everything that comes with that. But my number one thing that makes Asura's Wrath, to me personally, better, and just what Asura's feel and everything that I've mentioned so far with the four to multiple different points in these four that I've mentioned, what is being said, because it's basically a ramble talk, but I'm hoping that y'all understand that, one, that this is my opinion, even though I will debate this if anybody wants to actually have an honest conversation and maybe give their side what is being said, because I love both matter of creations. It's just, again, I probably stand as Asura being one of, not my favorite protagonists in video games, and Asura's Wrath being my favorite video game of all time, and being a proud lover and great case of matter of care for the case of both series, that Asura, even though not being better, and Asura's Wrath not being the case of a better game in all forms than God of War, has some stuff as a series that has been inspired in other case of matter stuff to be better. And obviously, Mom, just want to go ahead and show out all the count of the busting that makes Asuras good within a matter of obviously what you see on screen between their points, and show love to both matter of series and their greatness as a whole. But simply put, in conclusion, and full with the last one before I go on nerd tangent, is the fact that Asura as a protagonist and as a character as a whole, I think for how he's done within the anime and action-packed bussin' thriller that is Asura's Wrath, to me will be better to God of War because of how much of an anime fan I am and the type of culture that has inspired. I think all of that is a lot more cooler and crazed dope than God of War. I'm not saying God of War isn't cool or does action pack feel dark, gritty, disturbing, staying in the tone that makes Greek mythology, but I just feel like Asura touches every mark of bussin' because of how it represents mythology, how it represents different matter of cultures, and it stays strong within its own matter of bussin' feel in every sense of the way. I love it so much. I think it's so bussin'. I think it's so cool, and I really love every aspect of Asura's Wrath and how it integrates the iconic case of matter of theme play that aligns with the case of mythologies that it takes inspiration from, then corresponded with the case of the anime feel, especially the Wizen boss fight, which is one of my favorite boss fights in video game. Not like peak great stand, but it's a very dope ass boss fight, and every feel, every dopeness that comes with it, and just the greatness that is the case of the Lost episodes, within the case of Asura versus Evil Ryu versus Oni, aka Akuma. Every aspect is so dope, and I love it so much, and I really love the ending of Asura's Wrath, and to me, I think it is a better ending when it comes down to conclusion of a character at a point of their rage or where the fuck than the case of matter of how God of War 3, and even though I think it's a good ending for Kratos with stuff being done in full understanding and later on stand, how Asura dies is a lot more, I feel like, pathful, profound, stellar, beautiful, and most importantly mesmerizing because of everything he did to this point and the greatness that came with it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, all of that stuff outshines every matter of some of the stuff that will be built up to that considerable death of Kratos. Even though his death is dope, and even not being as impactful is a very solemn way to go out in the end, and I just like how he swoops the Blade of Olympus and kills himself. But still, that's pretty much it, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video with my talk and my multi-case matter of different points within the matter of these 4 points that I made beforehand. Again, if you disagree, that's fine. Tell me why in the comments. And if you would like to go have a conversation about it, agree, disagree, of course, depending on the case of matter of obviously your opinion, what is being said. Either way, though, I love y'all. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, my army. Love y'all.